I have returned. I, Friedrich Nietzsche, have climbed down from my mountain once again. Wait, stop staring. You're giving me the same look you gave yesterday's CPI report, right? I didn't die in 1900. I just pivoted into the data. Welcome to the abyss. Shall we dance? I walk among you in this strange twilight of the year 2025. I look into your glowing screens, your frantic tickers, your desperate headlines about soft landings and rate cuts, and I see the same sickness I diagnosed a century ago. You have not killed God this time, you have killed value. I walk through your financial district and I see the last man. He blinks. He asks, what is risk? What is creation? What is struggle? He wants his 60-40 portfolio to keep him warm. He wants the state, that coldest of all cold monsters, to promise him that the party will never end. He wants comfort without cost, consumption without production, and money without work. But I tell you this, the era of the last man is ending. The floorboards of your civilization are rotting. You are standing at the end of a 70-year cycle of nihilism in finance. What is fiat currency after all? It is the ultimate nihilism. It is a belief in nothing. It is a piece of paper that says, this has value because I, the state, say it does. It is detached from reality, detached from physics, detached from the sweat of the brow. It is a lie agreed upon, and now in late 2025 the lie is breaking. I am here to offer you a hammer. We are going to sound out these hollow idols, the Federal Reserve, the ESG metrics, the risk-free rate, and hear them ring empty. I will show you how to invest not for safety, but for power, for vitality, for truth. Because the only way to survive the coming storm is to align your capital with the only two things that do not lie, physics and code. Let us speak of the greatest deception of your age. For decades you have lived under the delusion that money is a political tool. You believed that a committee of men in Washington or Brussels could decide what your time was worth. They printed trillions, stealing the hours of your life like thieves in the night. This is slave morality, the resentment of the weak against the productive, using the mechanism of inflation to level the playing field, to punish the saver and reward the debtor. But a new master morality has emerged. It does not ask for permission. It does not care about your politics. It simply is. I speak, of course, of Bitcoin. Do not look at me with that skepticism. I am not interested in your crypto casinos. I am interested in truth. In a world of infinite paper, Bitcoin is the anchor of finitude. It is the first time in your history that you have discovered absolute scarcity. There will be 21 million, never more. Even if the emperor demands it, even if the mob screams for it, the math does not bend. This is the definition of character, to stand immovable against the tide. In the deep inside, energy is the only currency. Here is the concept you must grasp to survive 2026. Money is nothing but stored energy. When you work, you expend energy. You want to store that energy to use it later. Fiat currency leaks that energy. It is a battery with a hole in it. Bitcoin is different. It is proof of work. Do you understand the profundity of this? To create a Bitcoin, one must expend real physical energy. One must solve a cryptographic riddle that requires electricity, hardware, and time. It bridges the digital world and the physical world. It cannot be cheated. It cannot be fiat-ed into existence. This is the golden chain, connecting value back to the laws of thermodynamics. In the future, a future that is arriving faster than you think, AI agents will not use dollars. An artificial intelligence does not care about the full fate and credit of the United States. It cares about compute and energy. Bitcoin is the native currency of energy. It is the currency of the machine age. To hold Bitcoin in 2025 is not a speculation. It is a vote for the reality. It is a vote against the lie of the state. It is the ultimate no saying to the decadence of inflation and the ultimate yes saying to the discipline of mathematics. While the last men cling to their bonds, which are merely promises to print more lies, the Ubermensch, the higher man, holds the asset that requires work to produce. He holds the asset that no one can dilute. He holds the energy of the future. Now let us turn our gaze to the geopolitical stage. For too long, your society has been drunk on a naive pacifism. You believed that if you were nice enough, if you traded enough, the wolves would turn into vegetarians. You allowed your will to power to atrophy. You outsourced your safety to people who despise you. I told you, life is essentially appropriation, injury, conquest of the strange and weak. The world is not a safe space. It is a contest of wills. In 2025, the illusion of the end of history is shattered. The wolves are at the door. And who will hold them back? Not the woke moralists of Silicon Valley who faint at the sight of a weapon. No, it will be the new tech Prussians. Look at Palantir. This is not a software company. This is a civilizational imperative. Alex Karp, a man who amusingly reads philosophy while building the Panopticon, understands what I wrote in Beyond Good and Evil. He understands that Western civilization, for all its flaws, is the custodian of the Enlightenment, and it must be defended with the most terrifying intelligence available. Palantir's AIP, Artificial Intelligence Platform, is the will to power digitized. It takes the chaos of the world, the fog of war, the broken supply chains, the factory floor inefficiencies, and imposes order. It is the Apollonian spirit bringing form to the Dionysian chaos of data. While other tech giants were busy selling ads and dopamine hits to teenagers, creating a generation of last men, Palantir was in the trenches. They were building the software of sovereignty. The deep dive. In 2025, software is no longer about optimization. It is about kill chains. It is about the OODA loop, which means observe, orient, decide, act. The army that processes data the fastest wins. The company that navigates the supply chain shock the fastest survives. Palantir is the operating system for this speed. Investing in Palantir is not just buying a stock. It is a wager that the West has not lost its will to survive. It is a wager that we will not go quietly into the night. It is the sword in the digital age. And keep your eyes on the horizon for Anduril. Palmer Luckey is the modern Prometheus who stole fire back from the gods of complacency. He is rebuilding the arsenal of democracy, not with heavy, slow, expensive tanks, the dinosaurs of the old era, but with swift, autonomous intelligence swarms. This is the transvaluation of warfare. Cheap, smart, and abundant beats expensive, dumb, and few. This is the future. We come now to the bottleneck of your species. You have built the brain, artificial intelligence. You have built the nervous system, the internet, but you are starving the body. The AI beast is hungry. It demands electrons. It demands power, quite literally. And your windmills and solar panels, pretty toys for a calm afternoon. But they lack severity. They lack the constancy required for the higher intelligence you are birthing. You must return to the primal fire. You must split the atom. Nuclear energy is the ultimate affirmation of life. It is dangerous. Yes, live dangerously. Build your cities on the slopes of Vesuvius. To reject nuclear energy out of fear is the ultimate slave morality. It is the fear of power, the fear of mastery over nature. The investment, small modular reactors, SMRs. Look at companies like Oklo or the uranium miners. This is not just an energy trade. This is a civilizational bet. In late 2025, the data centers are running out of juice. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, the titans of your age, are begging for baseload power. They know that wind cannot think, solar cannot compute at midnight. Only the atom offers the density required to fuel the overman of intelligence, AGI. The energy money convergence. Remember my earlier point? Money is energy. Bitcoin is energy. AI is energy. The future belongs to those who own the base layer of physics. Uranium is the fuel. SMRs like Oklo are the engines. Bitcoin is the battery, the store of value. AI is the mind. This is the holy trinity of the new age: atoms, bits, and neurons. If you are buying consumer staples, if you are buying sugary water and diapers, you are betting on the last man. You are betting on mere biological survival. If you buy nuclear and AI infrastructure, you are betting on self-overcoming. You are betting on the evolution of the species. So how does one invest in the face of the abyss? You must stop thinking like a cow in the herd. The herd buys the index funds. The herd believes the CPI numbers. The herd thinks 2% inflation is stability. I say to you, inflation is the theft of your life force. You must build a portfolio that is anti-fragile. A portfolio that laughs at their currency debasement. A portfolio that says yes to the future, no matter how volatile. The Amor Fati, a love of fate, portfolio. 1. The sovereign store of value, 30%. Bitcoin. Not an ETF. Hold the keys yourself. This is your shield. It is the one thing the state cannot turn off. It is your exit door from their burning theater. 2. The sword of the West, 30%. Defense tech, Palantir, Anduril, AeroVironment. As long as there are enemies of liberty, there must be iron. Do not be squeamish. Civilization requires walls. Invest in the companies manning the walls with the highest IQ. 3. The Promethean fire, 20%. Nuclear and energy infrastructure. Uranium, SMRs, and the grid hardware that moves the electrons. Without this, the AI god dies in the womb. 4. The speculative arrow, 20%. High conviction moonshots. This is where you exercise your will to power. Find the founders who are maniacal, the ones the media calls crazy, the ones who want to go to Mars or cure aging or rewrite the genome. Bet on the book-grade individuals, not the committees. What to avoid? The last man assets. Long-term government bonds. Why would you lend money to a bankrupt entity that pays you back in confetti? That is servitude. All the world consumer brands, they rely on a stable middle class that is being hollowed out by inflation. They are the past. My friends, I do not give you this advice so you can be comfortable. Comfort is for the wretched. I give you this advice so you can be free. The year 2026 will be a year of storms. The debt markets will shake. The geopolitical fault lines will rupture. The last men will panic and cry out for the state to save them. But you will not panic. You will say, Was that life? Well then, once more. You will embrace the volatility. You will use it to forge your independence. You will stop using their fake money and start owning the real world. The energy, the computation, the defense, the absolute truth. I foresaw the death of the old gods, but I also foresaw the coming of something greater. The old financial order is dying. Let it die. Push what is falling. Build your raft. Navigate the torrent. And perhaps on the other side of this transition, we shall meet not as debtor and creditor, not as master and slave, but as free spirits. I am Zarathustra, and I have spoken.